Hi, the Mudbrooker here. It's springtime here in Wisconsin, so that means I'm going to try something new. I'm going to be making plum blossom jelly. I just love the smell of plum blossoms. They're my favorite. Hopefully this will turn out good. I've never actually done it before. Now the first step of this is pretty easy. You're going to need about 3 cups, lightly packed. They're pretty springy. You don't want to really mash them down in there. About 3 cups worth of plum blossoms. Now you want just the blossoms. You don't want the woody stems or any leaves in there. And what you do is you take your 3 cups of plum blossoms, put them in a quart jar. Oops, lost some. Get in there, you. Get these last couple. Kind of get them down in there. You can see they fluffed up pretty good. That filled the quart jar. And we're going to cover them with 4 cups of boiling water. Hopefully not cover the counter in the process. There. And we're going to let these steep overnight. I'll let it cool down until you can already see it starting to extract some of it. It's turning a nice golden greenish brown, or golden greenish color. I'll let this cool down. I'll put a lid on it, put it in the fridge, let it sit overnight, and I'll be back tomorrow and we'll make some jelly. My plum blossoms have been steeping in the fridge since yesterday. Got kind of a nice light yellow color to it. We'll see what it looks like when I get this strained out. You want to strain out all the flowers and bits out of it. I got a jelly bag here. I got to get some different ones because I can't use these in my press because you can't tie them shut. They've got an elastic thing around the mouth, which is handy if you want to snap it onto a funnel or a jar, but I can't tie them shut and squeeze them in my press. But for now, we'll just put that on there. That smells nice. And we'll strain out the flowers. And we'll squeeze them out, get as much of the juice out of there as we can. Okay, set that aside. Let me get my pot. There we go. Got my pot on the stove over there. My other ingredients, I don't need the sugar right away, but I do need my pectin and my lemon juice. Now I want 4 cups of my plum blossom tea. If you're a little bit short, you should be close, but if you're a little bit short, you can top it off with a little bit of water. And yeah, I'm about 3/4 of a cup short. There we go. About 3/4, anyway, 4 cups of your blossom tea. Put that in there. A 1/4 cup of lemon juice. And a packet of pectin. We'll get that cooking. There we go. And it shouldn't take too overly long. Let me get over here on this side of my camera. I'm not in my own way there. That does not look good. I'll get a different one. Sometimes the packet gets a hole in it, let me see if we can get a little closer here and see that. That doesn't look good. It should be a nice white powder. I'm going to throw that out and grab a different one. Sometimes the inner packet will get a little hole in it, and it'll let moisture in, and mold and moisture and various things like that, and you do not want to use something like that to make your jelly. Let's see how this one looks. That's what pectin is supposed to look like. In we go with that. And we're going to bring this up to a boil. Let me get out of the camera. We're going to bring this up to a boil. I'll be back when we got this boiling, and then we add the sugar. We're just about boiling here. And once you get this up to a boil, we'll let it boil for 1 minute. Once it's boiled for 1 minute, add your 4 cups of sugar and bring it back to a boil. Once it comes to a boil again, you want to boil it for 1 minute. The recipe for this is basically the same for any kind of flour jelly. I'm going to make lilac jelly next, but the lilacs aren't quite ready to flour yet. But the same basic recipe. You take about 3 cups worth of flours, steep them in a quart of boiling water, and then let it soak overnight, and then make 4 cups of your liquid, add your pectin, 1/4 cup of lemon juice, and 4 cups of sugar. We're back to boiling, so I'll set my timer for a minute, and away we go. Okay, the minute is up. Take it off of the heat, turn that off. Looking pretty good so far. Let that settle down a second and quit boiling. Get these out of the way. And now we're ready to start jarring this up. I have my water bath canner over there. It's already boiling. I have 6 jars, which I have boiled for 15 minutes to sterilize them. Cleaned them out good. My lids in some hot water to soften up the compound. And a little bit of vinegar and a paper towel to wipe the rims. Get my ladle here. Fill these up and leave about 1/4 inch of head space on them. About there. And you should get around 5 half pints. And this smells really nice. It's got a really light floral smell to it. I gotta tip my pot a little bit. Hopefully that'll cooperate and stay there. Here's 5. There's some left. I don't know if this will fill the jar. If it does, I'll process it. If it doesn't, I'll just put it in the refrigerator. Oh, perfect. Now, take a little piece of paper towel, dip it in your vinegar, just kind of get it damp, and wipe the rims of your jars so that there's no jelly on them and they're nice and clean, no foreign material. Otherwise, they won't seal. Okay, grab a lid, grab 2 lids actually, put your lids on, must have grabbed 7 lids instead of 6. And put your bands on finger tight. Them are warm. Surprisingly enough, boiling jelly is a little bit warm in the jar. Finger tight is usually the hardest part for me. I tend to crank my lids down a little too tight sometimes, especially when you're pressure canning. It doesn't make too huge of a difference if you're a little over tight when you're water bath canning, but when you're pressure canning, it can cause problems. The pressure can't get out of the jar as you're processing it, and it bulges your lid way up, and it won't seal. Go. Okay, I'm going to move my camera just a little bit here and load up my canner. Once that comes back to a full rolling boil, you start the timer and we'll let it boil for 10 minutes. My 10 minutes is up, and hopefully these will all come out, because I think I heard something break. I have had it with these half-pint jars. I've had some of these jars for a while now. When I first got them, come on, get my little lifter flipped up there. When I first got them, I had a couple of break. And they were okay for a while. That's an older jar. Huh. Anyway. I may have spoke too soon. But at any rate, let me get down here. Isn't that a beautiful color? We'll get these out, get them cooled off, and we'll give this stuff a try. I'll show you the jar that broke. I had been having problems with these kind of jars, but this was an old one that broke, so that one might have just been plain bad luck. There you go. That was an old Atlas Mason jar. Must have come to the end of its useful life, I guess. Unfortunately, I lost a half pint of jelly in the process. Anyhow, I can see a couple of them have already sealed. There's another one just pinged. Once these are cooled off, we'll be back and give it a try. It's about 36 hours later, and you can have a look here. Doesn't that have such a nice, beautiful, light gold color to it? Now this took a bit longer to set up than most jellies that I've made. It took about 12-13 hours, and then you could tell it was going to gel, but it's pretty soft. And now it's to the point where it's gelled up pretty solid. Down there, tip her a little bit so you can see. It's gelled up fairly solid. So, it definitely seemed to work out. But now, we'll find out what it tastes like. All 5 of the ones that survived processing sealed, which is nice. Get that opened. It's got a real light floral kind of smell to it. And we'll see how she tastes. Yeah, it's a real different taste. I don't quite know how to describe it. It's not really like honey, but you can taste the smell of plum flowers, I guess is the only way you can really describe it. It's not a very strong taste, not a real potent flavor to it, but it is pretty good. So I think I'll probably make this again. And in a couple of weeks when the lilacs are ready, I'm going to try and make some lilac jelly too while I'm at it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to try and make some flower jelly, plum flowers, lilacs, dandelions, it's all basically the same recipe, the same technique. Get all the green bits off it. You don't want any stems or leaves in there, and really that's all there is to it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.